Good morning. Another very chilly start here in downtown Wausau. We are live from our WXCO studios at the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street in downtown Wausau. The time is 8:07. The temperature is 6 degrees below zero. Sunny skies, however. Good Thursday morning. It is the Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO on the Civic Media app, and also on YouTube at youtube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel. Don't forget you can join us by giving us a call, 715-814-9330. That's 715-814-9330. If there's something on your mind, if there's a topic that you would like to talk about, if you'd like to respond to something that we say, we would love to hear from you. 715-814-9330. Coming up, we're going to talk about Donald Trump's endorsement in the 7th Congressional District. In the last, 36 hours or so, Trump made a couple of endorsements in Wisconsin. I think many of you have heard about the endorsement that he made for Tom Tiffany for governor. In fact, that endorsement did have an effect, as one of the other candidates then dropped out, because the thought is, if King Donald doesn't endorse you, then why bother running for governor? So we'll touch on that. But the big topic I want to talk about is Donald Trump's endorsement in a competitive 7th District congressional primary on the Republican side. So we're going to talk about that coming up. Also, we'll be talking about the company that is kept. And when I talk about that, it involves, again, the gentleman down the street, because I receive a newsletter that talks about media, politics, and the like. I get a couple newsletters, keep up to speed on things and talk about interesting things.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be uncomfortable being in the same group that our erstwhile competitor down the street is in. So we're going to talk about that mainly in the second hour, because, again, for those folks out there who aren't aware, the first hour of the show here between 8 and 9 a.m., we are live on 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices, Civic Media app, youtube.com. And then in the second hour, we're exclusively online. You can continue with us on YouTube, youtube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel. And also you can tune in on the Sports 2 stream of WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app. And of course, you can always listen to it all together as a 2-hour podcast. We put that up immediately after the show concludes at 10 a.m. And you can get it on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, Chad Holmes Show or WXCO News, but subscribe both to the Chad Holmes Show and to WXCO News, because then you can also get our daily news roundup on Spotify. And you can also go to our website at WXCO.FM or civicmedia.us, go to the shows page and then highlight WXCO. And on the website, you have to go down to the WXCO news portion, click on that, and then our show is part of that file there as well. Also in this hour, we will be hearing a conversation we have every other week with Sean Wright. Sean Wright is the executive director of the Grand Theater of Wausau. He came in during our online hour yesterday. We're going to share it here on the radio hour at 8:35 this morning as well.
Mhm.
So again, we have a lot on the plate as we get closer and closer to the end of the work week. Across the way is our in-studio engineer and producer, Mr. Ian Welsh. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Chad.
I got to tell you,
Mm-hmm.
as I was walking in from the parking garage, I park over at the old mall parking ramp, walking over here to the studio, about
Yeah.
a block or so. I think I'm getting very close to officially saying I am tired of this cold weather to start every day. It feels
I
like it's been a
second that.
while. It's time for it to break, isn't it?
Yeah. At least for the temperatures to get above, 10 degrees. If it was like in the 20s and 30s, it would be a little more comfortable because I've said this in past winters in Wisconsin in the wintertime. Between 20 and 25 degrees is a heat wave.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing about it is, and
We get used to it after a while.
yes, that's the thing. It feels as though our blood gets thicker as the winter continues.
That's right.
And when it's 0 and 10 below all the time, all of a sudden when it does get to about 20 above, it's going to feel downright balmy. It'll almost feel like you feel warmth out there, even though it's really not warm. But it feels like because of the difference between below 0 and
Yeah.
above 0 by a significant amount, it does feels different. So
It looks like next week it's going to be pretty consistently in the 20s for the start of next week. We're going into the weekend. It should be in like Saturday. I saw it's supposed to be a high of 20. Sunday will be about 22, and then Monday and Tuesday will be about 21. So it should be a definite improvement from last weekend, for
Right.
sure.
Right now, the average high temperature for Wausau is 22 degrees. So that's exactly kind of where we should be. So we'll be back pretty much to normal starting next week. But again, real quickly with the forecast today, partly sunny and cold, high near 8 above 0. Those wind chill factors still remain between 5 and 15 below. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 6 below 0. Friday, mostly sunny, a high near 12 degrees above 0. But again, tomorrow, those wind chill factors between 10 and 20 below 0. And then for the weekend, sunny on Saturday, a high of 22 degrees. And then Sunday, partly sunny with a slight chance of snow in the afternoon and a high near 23. Again, right now, 6 degrees below 0 here in downtown Wausau. I want to really quickly note our upcoming high school sports schedule here for the next couple of days because there has been a change. Tonight, still going to be over at DC Everest. As the Wausau West boys basketball team take on the DC Everest Evergreen. So West at Everest in high school boys hoops tonight at 7 o'clock right here on 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO and on the Civic Media app. Tomorrow, though, very kind of exciting. I got to say it's sort of a double-edged sword for me.
Why is that?
Because just basically, I think yesterday or at the very latest Tuesday, a game was added to the schedule for the Storm, the Central Wisconsin Storm. They are going to be playing Hayward, and this is a fantastic matchup. It just has been. Last year, they played in the sectional final with a trip to state on the line. It went to overtime.
Okay.
The Storm won 2-1. Earlier this season, they played over at Greenheck Turner over at Everest,
Nice.
and it finished in a 1-1 tie. They always seem to play incredibly competitive games. It's also a very important game because coming up in about 9 or 10 days,
Ooh.
they have the seeding meeting. So we'll have the brackets for the upcoming hockey playoffs.
Be here before we know it.
Yeah, and these teams are in the same bracket. And they, along with Superior, are all battling for the 1, 2, and 3 seeds. And it's rather significant because whoever ultimately gets that number 3 seed will have to make a long trip in the sectional semifinal because they'll be the road team against either either Hayward or Superior. And either way, it's a long trip. But so that means the Storm have games against Hayward and Superior the next week. So they need to win these games in order to try to avoid one of those really long, tough road trips in the playoffs.
So is that why it's a double-edged sword?
Well, the reason it's a double-edged sword is not for the teams. It's for me. Because the game tomorrow night tomorrow, the Central Wisconsin Storm and the Hayward Hurricanes
Mm-hmm.
is being played way up north. It's actually Hayward is a co-op. The Storm are a co-op. The Storm are a co-op of Wausau West, Wausau East, GC Everest, and Mosinee.
What's Hayward?
Hayward is a co-op of a bunch of schools as well. I don't have them all in front of me right now, but Hayward also Spooner, and this game is being played in Spooner. And when I saw this game was added to the schedule yesterday, I brought out my phone and I brought out my map and I put in the Hayward the Spooner Civic Arena or whatever they call it.
Okay.
And I said, well, how long of a drive is this? How far away is it from our studio here in Wausau?
Dare I ask?
And it's 2.5 hours away.
Holy smokes, that's like 5 hours.
Yeah, your math is good. Your math is very good.
Sure, when I don't think my math is good.
So it's like, oh, do I go all the way up there? Because I had scheduled a West boys basketball game, which is being played right at the field house. So it's a nice short little trek. But this is an important game. So last night we're doing the big high school sports show. Of course, BJ Brandt sitting across the table from me doing it. And he's the athletic director as well at Wausau West, but he also has a couple of daughters who play on the Central Wisconsin Storm. And he also has a son who plays youth hockey. And tomorrow night, his son has a game, so he can't go up to Hayward or go up to Spooner for the game. So he wants me to go up and do that game. And he is also part owner of the Wausau Cyclones. And the Cyclones have been very generous as they've been a sponsor of our Wausau West hockey broadcast. Well, they've added now the Storm, so I can go up there and do the game. So it shows that sponsorship matters. And if you out there are appreciative of what we do with our high school sports coverage, become a sponsor, because we can't do it without the support, especially for these long road trips. So in the end, I am going up to Spooner tomorrow night. It is a significant game when it comes to the postseason seedings. Two outstanding teams. They always play really good games. I'm looking forward to it. So I'm not looking forward to the drive, I'll say that much, but I am looking forward to the game.
The game is tomorrow night?
It is tomorrow night. So
at least you don't have to come in on a Saturday morning.
I said that to BJ myself. I said, I'm glad it's this week and not like a couple of weeks ago, where you're exactly right, where we'd have to come in for the Sully College football page show. So I can
sleep in a little bit on a Saturday after a 5-hour trip.
And I told him as well that I'm glad that the Wausau West hockey game Saturday night that we're doing against New Richmond is a night game and not a day game. Because it's like I believe me, I'm not going to be getting up very early on Saturday morning because I won't be getting home until well after midnight. I don't know what time it'll be, but it'll be after midnight.
You're going to have a busy couple of days ahead.
Exactly. So again, tonight, Wausau West boys basketball taking on DC Everest, 7:00. Tomorrow, Central Wisconsin Storm at Hayward. Game would be played in Spooner, but it's up in that area. 7:00. Saturday, Wausau West hockey against New Richmond, 6:35 airtime, all on 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO and the Civic Media app. By the way, why are we doing this? Why am I heading all the way 2.5 hours each way tomorrow night?
It's because we are very, very proud to be the only local Wausau radio station that covers play-by-play action of high school sports.
You're exactly right. We're going to take a time out. We're going to come back and talk about Trump's endorsement in the 7th Congressional District race. And it's causing a little bit of pushback. It's actually been very interesting. We're going to talk about that coming up next. The time is 8:20, 6 below zero here in Wausau, 98.9 WXCO.
If you want me, you can find me left of center off of the strip. In the outskirts and in the fringes, in the corner out of the grip. If you want me, you can find me left of center off of the strip. In the outskirts and in the fringes, in the corner out of the grip.
And welcome back. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app, and again also on YouTube at youtube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel. Hey, a reminder, if you missed our interview yesterday for the first hour, we had former Wausau Mayor Katie Rosenberg join us in studio. We had a chance to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, past, present, future. And if you missed that interview, again, you can hear it as a podcast, again, at Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, or at our website, WXCO.FM and civicmedia.us. Ian, do we have someone called in?
Yes, it's a good friend, Cornell. He actually has he had to talk a few seconds about Tom Tiffany. Maybe we can tie it into the new
Absolutely.
Trump endorsement as well. Go
Cornell,
ahead, Cornell.
good morning.
Yeah, I'm on, Ralph. Well, thanks for the great show. I'm just so very upset. You know, I can hardly talk about the actions of Trump. We lost two beautiful people, Alex Petrie and Renee Good, and Trump called them terrorists, and they're just wonderful people. And anybody that takes the endorsement of Trump should never hold office again.
By the way, Cornell, did you see earlier in the week when Tom Tiffany held a press conference down in Madison? He was asked about the tragedy that occurred this past weekend, and he's basically spouts off his normal stuff, and then he's asked, and he never even looked at the video. How can you be somebody who wants to be a leader and ignore evidence just because it may contradict what your line of attack is? I thought that was outrageous.
It's just horrible, and I'm glad. It's just horrifying. I've been watching the assassination and execution of Alex, and I'm glad everybody on the comedy hours have stand up. They even have pictures of him, and they really honored him. That's Colbert and Kimball and Stewart, and it's just horrible. I mean, we've got a guy that should be impeached, and I would never take endorsement from a person that was involved in a child sex ring, and it's just horrible with the Epstein things, and every day they're violating the Constitution of the United States. They're not following it, and we have this great Constitution of the United States that has lasted over 250 years, and they've set it on fire. And these people in Congress have sworn on their family Bibles to support the Constitution of the United States, and they've set it on fire, and it's really a horrible thing. And I just want to say, also want to say that we have so many tremendous nurses and doctors in Aspirus, and it's kind of hard to talk. They saved my wife twice, her life. She walked in the hospital on Friday, and on Sunday she walked out just normal and strong. And I want to thank all the hospitals in the area for these tremendous ICU nurses. Because every night they're have to take care of patients, and they don't know if they're going to live or die. And they're just wonderful people. I call them walking angels. But nobody that should be in office that is endorsed by President Trump, because he should be impeached. If you catch Jimmy Kimmel's show on Monday, and he listed a dozen things how horrible Trump is, but I want to just say that I hope we get a great candidate. I am, there's so many candidates flying around now. Who's running against Tiffany, or is it too early?
Well, I would say that I'm been very impressed. We've had the opportunity here on this program over the last 3 weeks to talk, I think, to six of the Democratic candidates for governor. I think that Michael Crowley, the Milwaukee County executive, I was very impressed with. We had Mandela Barnes, who I thought also did a terrific job, but we had Sarah Rodriguez. I think the Democrats have a lot of folks that will be very strong. Whoever ultimately comes out of this primary, I think, will be very strong because Tom Tiffany has a lot of weaknesses.
He
Yeah,
does.
yeah. Okay, I apologize. Now I remember. I'm older in my brain.
No. It's all good, and it gives me a chance to remind folks you can listen back to those discussions as well.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I just caught the part of the debate. Yeah, there's some strong candidates there, but I don't know who's going to come out leading. But we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
No. It's the thing about it as well. It's we have time. I mean, we want to have the make sure that the strongest candidate is able to go through this primary, and it's not until August that's the primary. So I think there's a lot of time to be able to listen to these candidates because I think we're at an era, and I think that a lot of the folks that we've heard from, they want strength now. They want people that are willing to stand up against MAGAism and the type of politics that is pushed forward by people like Tom Tiffany and Donald Trump.
Well, he
30 we got about 30 seconds, Cornell. So any final thoughts?
Thank you, Civic Media, and you all, and I watch the show, and for getting the word out and doing what is right. And I hope we can, we got to make Wisconsin great. And the thing is to just, go Democratic because they're on the right side of.
Thank you, Cornell. We have a hard break here. We'll talk about the Trump endorsement of Michael Alfonso at 8:52, and next it's Sean Wright on WXCO.
WXCO.
So, were you going to intro the Sean Wright interview?
No, just play it.
Just play. Okay.
Yeah, you may have to cover it the very last few seconds with music.
Okay, I can do that. Yep.
And welcome back, Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO Civic Media app and the WXCO YouTube channel. With Ian Welsh, I am Chad Holmes. And yesterday, during our second hour, the online hour, we had a chance to speak to Sean Wright of the Grand Theater. And we wanted to share a little bit of the conversation on what's happening at the Grand. And I was just saying to you before we get into all the things that have been going on with the Grand Theater, I gave you my conspiracy theory about Pat Murphy and the Brewers, because the Brewers traded away Freddie Peralta, and I was so mad about this. But it was right after Pat Murphy had come to Wausau.
Yeah,
I think you guys, I think the Brewers did not want to get all those questions from the Wausau audience.
I think they did. They knew the Wausau audience was going to have all the hardcore questions. It's funny though, with your conspiracy theory, the number of people that I talked to that night who were like, "We love Murph. We love Murph." Now the organization, I got some problems, and it was like those. I appreciate that people can separate the fact that the manager doesn't control the roster; he controls the lineup card.
I'm not even sure that Matt Arnold controls the roster.
No,
have an evening with Mark Antanasio. I bet you saw that one out.
Oh, I'm sure there would be some questions.
It's wonderful to have Murphy come here to Wausau.
Yeah,
I've heard folks who were there that were thrilled with it.
Murph just did a great job with it, along with with Lance Allen, and they just, when you book these type of things, you go like, I mean, okay, people are going to be excited, and Brewers manager, obviously they're coming off some great years, but how's the show going to be?
Right.
But it was fun. They took time, and they leaned into the different things. He's FaceTiming players. He's telling stories. Like it was really a lot of fun. And somebody said that, like, I was always on his side when he got kicked out of a game before, but now I definitely am.
By the way, did Lance Allen bring back his old days working at Channel 12?
Oh yes, we absolutely chatted about that. His days at he goes, the TV landscape at that time was, they told me, if you want to stay on as a sports reporter, you can learn how to do the weather. And he said, I'm not a meteorologist. And they said, just read what's on the screen. And
also, congratulations to you. Got a nice little honor, didn't you?
Yeah, thank you. I've been selected to join the APAP board of directors. APAP is, of course, the Association of Arts Presenters, and it's the largest group of presenters like us, but also it's arts professionals. We changed that name a couple of years ago. Old habits die hard. Presenters like the Grand, and producers, the people who produce all the shows that come here, agents who represent them, and then the artists who star in them. So it is a huge ecosystem. The big conference in New York a couple of weeks back had about 3,000 attendees, and literally we've got members all across, primarily across North America, but also Europe, Asia as well. And honored to be a part at the same time as we were chatting off air. It just means, here, join this committee. Here, join this committee. Come to this DC for these 2 days. Come to New York for these 2 days. So it's nice to have the press release. Then the reality is, no, you got to get to work.
Hey, they expect the talent to show up, and you're the talent this time. But usually you're saying the talent to show up to the Grand. Yeah. Now you're the talent.
Yeah,
so there you go. But again,
better choice as a talent out there. But
I'm guessing that you haven't slowed down all that much, because it never seems to slow down at the Grand Theater.
No, it is odd just with the way the schedule broke. We're actually in the midst of here about a 10-day break without any shows, and we kind of don't know what to do with ourselves. But
you
there's
did have
a
some
lot
shows recently, though.
Yeah, we did. We had Colin Ray, the country music legend, on Friday night, and appreciate, despite the fact it was 25 below, I think we had over 90% of our ticket holders attend, and so it was kind of funny. Both shows this weekend, we had people, or last weekend, the artists saying, well, is anybody going to come out? We hear it's going to be 25 below zero. And I'm like, it's Wisconsin. People will be there. And,
by the way, real quickly, I saw on your Facebook postings over the weekend talking about cancellation policies. Basically, with the Grand Theater, there's so many moving parts. You kind of, unless the roof is coming off the place, the show is going to happen.
Yeah, if there's some sort of major crisis with the facility, or if the artist can't be there, can't get there, and then occasionally there are situations where we work with the artist and say, it's not going to be safe for us to get crew here, or for you to travel here. And you don't see a lot. Broadway is one, of course, that really obviously tries to stay on the road as much as they can. Well, they were one of the shows, The Music Man, is actually in the Southeast this weekend into this week, and they've lost a lot of shows just simply because the artist could probably get to the venue, but of course you've got, especially as you get into Mississippi and Southern Tennessee, you've got so many places where people don't have power, and where roads are refreezing every night, and so it's just not not safe. But
Mhm.
it's a collaborative decision. But yes, the default is if the artist can make it there, the show goes on.
I wanted to ask you about the classic albums Live Lithium because
Mhm.
that took me right back to
Yeah.
college because I worked on my college radio station early 90s.
Mhm.
That's where I got my start. And my playlist involved so much of that
Yeah.
type of music. How did that go?
Really, really great show. The thing I liked most about it was they did sort of blocks of each artist. Started with a block of Stone Temple Pilots, and then one of Soundgarden, one of Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam. After the intermission, kind of mixed it up and did some of the, I don't want to say one-hit wonders, because there certainly were artists who had one, but did sort of the key songs. Brought out a
Mhm.
really amazing female vocalist who did Zombie by the Cranberries, Did You Ought to Know, Connection by Elastica, and then finished with the block of Nirvana songs, of course, to end the night. It was a really fun night. I think the thing that I liked most about it, other than the artists themselves were really talented, was it did bring in a younger crowd. And it wasn't the younger folks, my age, your age, others who appreciated back in the time. I actually enjoyed seeing we had a lot of high school kids, college kids. There was actually a group of about half dozen high school kids who bought rush tickets and went and stood all the way up in the top row of the balcony because they wanted to stand the whole night. And I kept looking up at them, and I don't know if they knew every word, but pretty close as they were in there. One was in a Nirvana t-shirt, another one was wearing Foo Fighters. And I texted my sister, who's in the same age range, and I said, I think we're going to be okay. The humanity, you wonder at times if the high schoolers are up there singing every word to Pearl Jam. Yeah, we're going to be fine.
As they move forward, they'll probably take a look at the schedule and say,
Absolutely.
what's happening at the Grand?
Absolutely.
And you get some more patrons that will come in for years to come.
That's what you do. And booking shows like that is the long game of audience development, as Mentor of mine once said.
There you go. Again, we're talking to Sean Wright, the executive director of the Grand Theater of Wausau here on 98.9 WXCO. As you said, what's it like having this break at this time of year, isn't it?
It is really strange for us to have. It's great for everybody because obviously we roared out of the holidays with a really, really busy schedule. And then truthfully, once we get through this break, the schedule is pretty crazy all the way until May 10th. In fact, there's a few stretches in there that you're like, oh, that's going to be a real bear. But it's nice. It allows us to, one, this is the time of year when it's super cold and super snowy and all these things that a 98 going on 99-year-old building decides to show you all of the challenges.
Oh, boy.
And of course, when a lot of these challenges are scheduled to be rectified here in a few months. And so facilities and tech busy dealing with some of those things, dealing with some of the things that you just don't have time to do when you're so busy. And then frankly, in our world, administrative wise, it is really kind of the key time for booking all of next year's shows. Plus, gives us as a team an opportunity to sort of have a reset on the Second Century campaign and just catch up on some of the things that need to happen and some of the things that we have to do, like move out of our buildings and where do we go, how do we store things and everything else, because those things suddenly, you don't think about those until it's suddenly time to think about those.
Moving stinks.
Yes.
Even if you're just moving to move back.
Absolutely.
You're still moving. You're actually moving twice.
Yes.
How is it going? Have you started that process?
We're definitely at that point that we're trying to find where our sort of public facing location will be. That's the one thing that's different for us than a lot of businesses is, if you're a law firm and your offices are getting redone, you move everybody off site or you move everybody to home, but we still need to have a public box office, a public administrative office for people to buy tickets, do all the things that we do. So trying to find a public space for part of our team and then finding space for the rest of our team to work. And then really the craziest thing is you just don't realize how much is in a theater. The lighting alone, the racks and racks of lighting that are in a gigantic storage room right now in the basement that all have to come out because that room's being redone. And things like, the main curtain is being replaced. It's time to replace that. Obviously, it needs to match the seats, but all of our other soft goods, all the legs, the travelers, the psych, those are all new within the last 5 to 6 years. So we're not replacing those, but they all need to go somewhere that is dust free and that temperature controlled, humidity controlled. So yeah, it's been an interesting process as we've tried to work with some of the folks have different real estate holdings in our community and where we can live for a few months to go back, and then just trying to figure out with our contractor, what spaces do we need to be out of first? How long does it take for us to get out of spaces? Because literally we have a show on Saturday, May 8th, and construction slated to begin on Monday, May 10th. So not exactly the like, oh, and now we closed on that house and we have 3 weeks to get out of our other house. No. So
Unbelievable. But again, excitement is got to be building because
Mhm.
you know what's and
It
it's
is.
like just fantastic for the community.
Yeah, it is. It's great to see the project sort of coming together on the construction side and with all of our various subcontractors and partners and everything. And we know it's going to be here before we know it. At the same time, we have a lot to get through until that point, both in shows and what we're doing, and then obviously we still have money to raise. But it is exciting to think about what's ahead, and it's great to know our construction team and folks at Myron are they feel like we're in a good place. So you just kind of have to take them at their word and move forward.
What's happening? There's some shows here coming up soon. Who's coming?
Absolutely. It's Super Bowl weekend, and so why not bring that beloved Scottish nanny, Mrs.
There
Doubtfire,
you
to
go.
town for 2 shows on that Saturday because we said don't give us a Sunday show. The Packers are going to be in the Super Bowl. Well, we try. We did our part.
You're so optimistic.
Exactly. So 2 shows of Mrs. Doubtfire coming up a week from Saturday. Still maybe 150, 170 tickets left for each performance. So they're definitely going fast and just going to be a really fun day, fun 2-show day. We don't have a lot of those in the Broadway world. A couple of other really exciting upcoming shows. Mark Twain Tonight with the great Richard Thomas. People of a certain age know him as John Boy Walton
Exactly.
on the Waltons, but he's been on Broadway, was Atticus Finch on the national tour of To Kill a Mockingbird, and was on Ozark as well. And in fact, that will be the Wisconsin premiere of his version of Mark Twain Tonight. He's the first one to do it since Hal Holbrook, who of course originated it and did it for so many years. That tour got very truncated because just as soon as they booked it, Mr. Thomas is going to star in a show on Broadway coming up in March. So we will not only be the Wisconsin debut premiere of it, we're the only Wisconsin date of this current tour. So that comes up a little later in February, and just all kinds of things from the Peking Acrobats to the Three American Troubadours and a lot of other shows as we dive into February.
And one I noticed that love to see the legends come. Judy Collins.
Judy
is coming
Collins.
in about a month.
Absolutely. Just an absolute legend and Grammy Award winner, Academy Award nominated documentary filmmaker. I had no
Wow.
idea until I was doing some research on it. And I think the thing that's amazing is Judy's in her 80s now, and her last album, 2023, was nominated for a Grammy for Best Folk Album. I mean, like that. Wow.
And the person behind Sweet Judy Blue Eyes.
Exactly.
Stills and Nash.
Exactly.
Yeah,
just such a talented artist. And so, yeah, that's one we're really, really excited about coming up.
Fantastic. And again, for folks who want more information, you know where to go.
You do. It's grandtheaterer.org. For more information about the Second Century campaign, visit grand100.org. This Friday is actually 100 days to closure. So we've got a lot of things that we're going to be rolling out over the next 30 days, really, about how the public can get involved and a lot of behind the scenes things and ways for us to just sort of ramp up the excitement toward what's going to be a really transformative summer.
Hey, how's the fundraiser coming along?
We're working our way towards that. We are closing in on $14 million. Still have another $3 million to go. So anybody has extra change in their couch cushions, we're happy to take it. But
there you go, Ian.
Exactly. But we are going to, part of that 100 days is we're going to announce the details and name a seat so that people can, have their opportunity to put their name on a seat as we bring in new seats for the first time in about 60 years. But they're slightly needed.
Again, Sean, always good to see you.
Yep.
Stay warm, and we'll catch you in a couple of weeks.
Sounds great.
That is Sean Wright, again, Executive Director of the Grand Theater. We're going to take a quick time out and then come back with more. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
Life is so strange when you don't know how can you tell where you're going to. You can't be sure of any situation. Something could change, and then you won't know. Where do we go from here?
Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO on the Civic Media app, on YouTube, youtube.com, and the 98.9 WXCO channel. 3 degrees above zero here in downtown Wausau. Expecting a high in the single digits today. Don't forget that once we wrap up this hour, coming up after 9 o'clock, it will be mid-mornings with Greg Bach here on 98.9 WXCO. But if you'd like to continue with us, as we have another hour to go online, we'll be online from 9:06 until 10 a.m., talking about a lot of different stuff. You never know what you might miss. But so if you would like to keep with us, just follow along on WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app and the Sports 2 stream. Again, you have 3 different streams. If you go to WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app, you have the primary stream, which is what is on the air at any particular time. The Sports 2 stream, which we normally use as a alternate sports channel, but now with this show getting the online hour, we use that second stream as our stream for the 9 o'clock hour. You can also continue with us on YouTube, youtube.com, and the 98.9 WXCO channel after 9 as well. Well, Michael Alfonso, and I've actually known Michael Alfonso because he used to play football at Newman Catholic.
Yeah,
He was a
did mention that.
Newman
Mhm.
Catholic grad, football player there for Coach Paul Micklig and the Cardinals. And he is now running for Congress in the 7th Congressional District. He is 25 years old, which is the minimum that you have to be in order to run for Congress.
Really?
And so he's just barely old enough.
Okay.
And this week, he has been endorsed by Donald J. Trump, President of the United States.
Well, who would have thought?
Well, Alfonso is also the son-in-law of Sean Duffy, who is the Secretary of Transportation in the Trump administration.
Of course.
But there's getting some pushback from Republicans and conservatives on this endorsement. And actually, our friend Pat Kreitlow has a good write-up on upnorthnewswi.com about this, talking about Alfonso's record of voting and where he lives and his work. Basically, Pat Kreitlow reports that Alfonso has an active voter registration in Florida, not Wisconsin, where he voted in 2024, has an inactive Madison record and an active record at his in-laws' home in Hayward. That's Sean Duffy's home in Hayward, though he's never voted there. The thing that's also, Pat Kreitlow says, working against Alfonso is not just the youth and inexperience, but his voting history, and also the fact that there's some pushback. He reports that the conservative website Wisconsin Right Now, right on the political spectrum. There you go. Yeah, you got it there.
It took a few seconds to click.
There you go. But the conservative website Wisconsin Right Now has run a series of social media posts questioning Alfonso's qualifications compared to other Republicans seeking the chance to succeed Tom Tiffany, who is running for governor. The posts point out his lack of job experience beyond some construction work and as a podcast producer. And I was actually talking to some folks yesterday, and I may disagree with, say, Kevin Hermaning on a lot of issues, and I do. I disagree with Kevin Hermaning on a lot of issues, and he's also running for the 7th Congressional District seat.
We've had him on the show before.
Absolutely, but the point is that there are certain things that you have to be able to do the job well. And there's a lot of question marks on whether or not Michael Alfonso's experience or lack thereof would allow him to be a representative, because there are people, Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever you are, that from time to time will need the help of a congressman for an issue that has nothing to do with politics. It just says, well, you need to call up your representative, the person that you have put in to office to represent you, to help you in some matter. Would Michael Alfonso be able to do the basic tenets of the job. I don't know. I don't think so at this point, based on the record. I think that as much as I disagree with Kevin Hermaning, he's got governmental experience. He's got experience in the business world where you think, well, he would at least be able to help you if you made a call, you needed help with some sort of issue that deals with the federal government. So, again, the 7th Congressional District has Republicans who are running: Michael Alfonso, Kevin Hermaning, Jesse Eben, and Paul Wasserman. Democratic candidates include Fred Clark, Chris Armstrong, and Ginger Murray. And my plan is to get these candidates on from both the left and the right to talk about these issues in the next, hopefully sooner rather than later. So
Yeah.
again, it's a case where, and I think there's been a lot of pushback, and we'll see whether or not Donald Trump notices that, because one thing about Donald Trump, he doesn't like pushback.
No, he does not.
So he's either going to go after the people pushing back against him, or he'll toss Michael Alfonso overboard. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, because again, it has not been universally praised that this endorsement of Alfonso, and it happened as well this week with the endorsement of Tom Tiffany, which was less controversial because, frankly, Tom Tiffany appears to have a wide open road towards the Republican nomination for governor of Wisconsin. Unless somebody else jumps into the race, it feels like Tiffany will be cruising to that nomination.
I think it's a step in the right direction that there is a pushback on this. It means that the people are
King Donald,
understanding that Michael Alfonso does not have the experience, and Donald Trump is making a huge mistake in backing someone who has no idea what they're doing.
I think you got that, and I think it's generally starting to look like maybe a little bit of King Donald's aura
People
is
are trying
starting
to take
fade
their
away.
blinders off, apparently.
Yeah.
A little bit at a time, but at least it's a little pushback is better than no pushback at all.
Okay, so now we will be heading online for the next hour. We'll start up at 9:06, so join us on YouTube, 98.9 WXCO channel, WXCO.FM, and the Civic Media app Sports 2 stream. Lots to talk about in the next hour, including the company that is being kept by Mr. Conway. So we're going to talk about that coming up here on the Chad Holmes Show.
All I need is a TV show, that and the radio. Down on my luck again, down on my luck again. I can show you some of the people in my life. I can show you some of the people in my life. It's driving me mad. Just another way of passing the day.
And good morning once again, everyone. The time is 9:07. Temperature warming up. It's actually moving up rather nicely so far this morning. We are now to an even 0 degrees at our downtown Wausau studios at the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street. I am Chad Holmes. It is hour number 2 of the Chad Holmes Show. We are live on YouTube, youtube.com, 98.9 WXCO channel, also on WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app under the Sports 2 stream. Again, if you go to our website or to the app and you look at the streams, we have a primary stream, which is what is on the air at a particular time. We have the Sports 2 stream, which is where we are now. We use that usually for our alternative sports broadcast, but we now use it here as for the 9 o'clock hour each weekday morning. And there's even a Sports 3 stream in those rare cases where we'd have 3 games at the same time. We haven't had one of those situations in quite a while, but it's always
It
good
has
to-
happened.
It has
just not in
happened,
a while.
but it's good to have the potential if you need to have 3 different games going on at the same time. Hopefully your Thursday is off to a terrific start. It is the 29th day of January. We are heading to the final days of this month. And of course, when you get to February, that is always the shortest month of the year.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
And actually something I wanted to kind of bring up in that, of course, is Ian Welsh across the way.
Last year was a leap year, I believe. It was 29 days in February.
It was 2024, actually.
Oh,
It was
2
2
years ago.
Because it's the way I think of the way that I remember it, because every presidential election year is also a leap year.
Right.
So it's like
Every 4
it just
years.
landed. It happened to land that way. So yep. So this year we're just the shortest month of 28 days, but also coming up here in February. One of the things that I always enjoy the years that it lands this time around is
Yeah.
having the Olympics, because
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it, those 2 weeks in the middle of winter where things, not you're just trying to get to the spring.
Yeah.
But having the Olympics, I think, just is a great distraction from winter, and that is coming up not too far away in Italy.
It's always interesting to watch the Olympics because it's just it's like an annual tradition, a lot of great athletes, a lot of great events, and just it's a great way for all the countries of the world to come together and put aside their differences, at least for a little while.
Absolutely. And do you prefer the Winter Olympics or the Summer Olympics? Do you prefer either of them?
Honestly, I don't mind either of them. I think I prefer the summertime though.
I think a lot of people look at it that way, because I do think that in the summer, 2 of the most popular sports are the track and field events and the swimming events. I think when it comes to the winter, a lot of
I
people.
do like watching the ice skating in the winter though.
I know that is the most popular one, but I don't watch that. I like watching the bobsled and the luge. I
Ooh.
like the skiing, the skiing competitions as well. Those are the ones that I watch the most.
Yeah.
I like for whatever
It's like
reason.
every time I watch those, I'm like, no, I could never do that.
I guess I like the sports where you have a clock, because bobsled, the luge, and the
Oh,
skiing
yeah.
always have clocks. So it's like you watch those clocks,
Trying to beat the clock.
and they always show where you stand compared to the first place guy. You'll say
Mhm.
like 0.8 of a second behind
Oh,
or whatever.
man.
So
Yep.
those are the ones that I like. So I'm looking forward to again seeing the Olympic Games coming up in just a couple of weeks' time. So
Nice.
that'll be a lot of fun. Also looking forward to another big weekend of end of the week, I should say, end of January of high school sports play-by-play here on 98.9 WXCO. Tonight we will have the Wausau West boys basketball team at DC Everest, like those short road trips. Be at DC Everest High School Fieldhouse tonight, starting with the pregame show at 7 o'clock and the opening tip at 7:15. Won't have a short road trip tomorrow because heading up to Spooner as the Central Wisconsin Storm will take on the Hayward Hurricanes in a significant matchup with seeding implications for the upcoming playoffs. So Storm at Hayward tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. And then on Saturday night, we have the Wausau West hockey team looking for a 10th straight win. Warriors just having an outstanding season, 18-1 overall. They will take on New Richmond, 6:35 airtime. And don't forget as well, because not too early to look ahead, but Monday night, the biggest game of the season for the Wausau West hockey team. They host Stevens Point. Stevens Point is just ahead of the Warriors in the Wisconsin Valley Conference. For Wausau West, it is a must-win. Otherwise, Stevens Point will clinch the Wisconsin Valley Conference. So the Warriors and Stevens Point at the Marathon Park Ice Arena. It's a makeup game from a postponement for the cold weather last week. So that's Monday night, starting with the pregame show at 6:35. All those games live on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. And I'm going to give you another opportunity to tell us why I'm going to be running around doing all these games, both tonight and throughout the weekend and throughout the month of February.
It's because we are very, very proud to be the only local Wausau radio station that covers play-by-play action of high school sports.
Absolutely. Also, I want to remind folks that coming up early next week, because we've had a lot of political guests this week. Today, earlier was not political. It was Sean Wright, again with the arts, with the Grand Theater in Wausau. But we like to kind of mix it in terms of having guests that are involved in politics, sometimes with the high school sports realm, and sometimes within the arts as well. And coming up next week on Tuesday at 8:35 in the morning, we will have cast members from the Central Wisconsin Educational Theater Alliance, SWEDA, and their upcoming performance of Shrek. Of course,
it's almost time.
Yeah, we talked a bit about that last month when we had the artist in residence, Eric Peterson.
Great conversation.
Yeah, he is a guy that's made a living as an actor. He was Shrek on Broadway, and they brought him in to be their artist in residence to work with some of the kids last month. And we're going to meet some of those cast members next Tuesday morning.
Awesome.
At 8:35 here on the program. And then on Wednesday, we're going to have from the Central Wisconsin Community Theater, actually the Central Wisconsin Children's Theater. I'm sorry. There is a Central Wisconsin Community Theater. That's out in Stevens Point. But the Central Wisconsin Children's Theater, and they have a show coming up as well, Lady Pirates.
Yes.
Is that the name? Is that the correct name of it? Lady Pirates?
I believe so.
Let me actually
make sure I double check on that.
I'm going to check it as well, because
it should be on the website, I believe.
Central Wisconsin Children's Theater. I'm going to bring it up real fast here, because the Lady Pirates of Captain Bree.
Yes.
So that is the show coming up. The Central Wisconsin Children's Theater, and we will have members of that cast coming in on Wednesday of next week at 8:35. So
theater is starting to kick back up again.
It certainly is.
Very exciting.
And also, we like to promote some events. And coming up on Monday of next week, we're going to give a chance to promote as Brenton Canese, who's been on this program previously.
Yeah.
He's going to be coming in and talking about a fundraiser, a big event that is concerning the top of my head here now. My mind is from the what's the place down in by the courthouse?
The Wausau Conservatory
of Music. There you go. Let me bring up I should have had this information in front of me to begin with, but Brenton Canese is going to talk about an event coming up at the Wausau Conservatory. He'll be with us on Monday morning at 8:35. It is the Wausau Conservatory of Music fundraiser, gala coming up on Saturday, March the 7th at the Wausau Country Club. So that's a big event
Ooh.
for them. And they will be, he'll be coming in to just talk a little bit about that event coming up on Monday. So again, we will be bringing in other candidates, but we also mix things up because it can
Yeah.
get weighted down a little bit if all we're doing is talking about politics all the time. And
Yeah.
but
It's important to talk about politics.
yes, it is important, but it's also important to talk about the good things going on in our community. Give a spotlight, which you guys know very much about,
Oh,
to some of the
yes.
performers that are so entertaining in our community. Very talented as well. So again, every morning we try to give you discussions that you can use, maybe even for the rest of your day here on this program.
Yeah.
Real quickly, I want to talk about the weather forecast because, again, it's been just such a cold week. As I said, we're now up to 0 degrees. So we're seeing plenty of sunshine right now, which is nice. We've had a lot of sunshine with the cold weather, which is a good thing. At least we're not getting a lot of snow like some areas of the country have been.
That's true. Hopefully, you don't have any snow when you're traveling up to Spooner tomorrow. Fingers crossed.
I think we'll be okay. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
But today, partly sunny and cold, a high near 8 above 0. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 6 below 0. But again, be aware those wind chill factors between 10 and 20 below 0. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, and we actually could get into double digits tomorrow. 12 degrees expected for the high. But again, those wind chill factors between 10 and 20 below. Friday night, partly cloudy, a low of 2 above 0. Saturday, sunny and 22. Can bring out the short sleeve shirts on Saturday. And then Sunday, partly sunny, a 30% chance of snow afternoon at a high near 23 degrees.
Sometimes it's not the cold temperatures. Sometimes it's just the wind that makes it worse.
Oh, you're
Like-
exactly right.
Like, I mean, if you bundle up, you can prepare for the cold. Once that wind kicks in, it's like you need those extra layers. You gotta wrap your head with a scarf or something because it's just
you know, sometimes it goes right through you. I mean, it does. It just feels like it's going right through
Yeah.
you, and there's almost like no way to protect yourself from some winds. But
oh my
but
gosh.
fortunately, things will start to warm up just a little bit.
Yep.
Coming up later in the program, we'll wrap it up with our number for the day quiz with Ian. He is 2 for 3 so far this week, so we still have
Already got a passing week.
go for the winning week and even an A grade. We haven't had one of those in a while.
Oh, it'd be nice to get an A grade. I
so-
gotta
got to win.
knock on wood. Gotta focus.
Got to get the last 2 correct. Then that will be coming up at the end of the program. But coming up next, I almost feel guilty when I start talking about what they're talking about down the
I'll
road.
get the music ready.
But the thing about it is, I think, again, and I've said this, I mean, a lot of folks tune in over down the street to the conservative talker, WSAU. And frankly, they are right now more conservative than the administration is. And I think it's important to give a different perspective on what is happening, especially when it comes to ICE and when it comes to Minneapolis, because the folks that are pushing for basically all out are from the far right. And unfortunately, I think for our community, the morning show host over at WSAU is right in that camp. And I want to talk a little bit about that because I think it's important that if that kind of point of view continues, it's going to lead to more damage and more injuries and perhaps even more death in Minneapolis. So I do think it's important to talk about. We're going to do that coming up. And also we want to remind you that if there's something on your mind, we'd always love to hear from you. We have the phone lines that are open that Ian will pick up when you call in at 715-814-9330. That's 715-814-9330. Again, if it's something we're talking about, if it's something we're not talking about, we'd love to hear your thoughts. If you agree, hey, we love that. But if you disagree, we'd be willing to hear it as well. So again, 715-814-9330. We want you to be part of this program each and every morning. And again, don't forget, if you miss any of the show, you can go back and listen in as a podcast, whether on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts by searching Chad Holmes Show or WXCO News, or by going to our website, WXCO.FM and civicmedia.us, and it's under WXCO News there as well. With Ian Welsh, I am Chad Holmes. It is 9:20, Chad Holmes Show, live on YouTube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel, WXCO.FM, Civic Media app, and the Sports 2 stream. On Thursday night, the Wausau West High School boys basketball team makes the short trip to DC Everest for a Wisconsin Valley Conference matchup. Hear all the exciting action live on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app, starting with the pregame show at 7 p.m. and the opening tip at 7:15. Wausau West basketball on 98.9 WXCO is brought to you by Rocket Industrial and the Wausau Business Show, Sun Printing, the Wausau West Athletic Department, Mike Whitmore Construction, the Cloverbelt Credit Union, sponsor of the Cloverbelt Credit Union broadcast booth, and Operating Engineers Local 139, our high school ultimate sports sponsor. It's Wausau West at DC Everest and high school boys basketball. Thursday night, starting with the pregame show at 7, opening tip at 7:15 on 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app.
Local radio thrives when it serves the community. WXCO is no different, and we're looking to add someone to our staff that is well connected around town. Someone who can help our local businesses increase traffic and their visibility among our audience. From connecting clients with high school sports, local news and weather, or the Chad Holmes Show. If you know local business owners, we'd like to get to know you. If you'd like to know more about this opportunity, send me, Chad Holmes, a message at chad.holmes@civicmedia.us. That's chad.holmes@civicmedia.us. And let's set up a time to talk.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Wisconsin. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
On the TV screen, coming at you every Sunday. See the face on the billboard. Well, that man is me. On the cover of the magazine, there's no question why I'm smiling. You buy a piece of paradise, you buy a piece of me. I'll get you everything you wanted. I'll get you everything you need. You don't need to believe in hereafter, just believe in me. Cause he knows me, and he knows I'm right. I've been talking to Jesus all my life. Oh yes, he knows me, and he knows I'm right. He's been telling me everything is alright.
Chad Holmes Show. I got a chuckle because I'm listening here to the lyrics.
Yeah, me too.
And we've used this as our theme song when we basically talk about what the folks down the street are talking about, led by their program director and morning show host, Mr. Chris Conley. And I chuckle because I will actually I'll be in the same spot with him tonight. Because when I go over to DC Everest to do the broadcast tonight, the boys basketball game between Wausau West and DC Everest, he is there as well because he works for a streamer that does the game, and he does a lot of the DC Everest sports. And from time to time, I'll be walking around, and I'll turn a corner, and there he is. And I know he knows that I'm talking about him. I know. I mean, it's like remember he actually responded last year.
Yeah,
that he basically tried to explain why it's not hypocritical for a guy that was hauled into jail a couple of times for domestic violence to be pontificating about religion every Friday, and he felt the need to respond to me in that way, and then he's also responded in terms of when we had the programming changes, that basically saying that it's because I'm not popular and he's popular, and
yeah,
he talks to the people
in your face.
He talks to the people that people want to hear, and fine. I mean, I will doff my cap here to to him and his radio station's ratings. But
Yeah.
I just chuckle because I mean, odds are somewhere around the DC Everest Fieldhouse tonight, I may turn into him, and I'll give him credit. He hasn't done anything in person, so I'll give him that much, because I know he's out there tuned in, and his allies are tuned in as well. But the thing about it is, this is not a personal thing. This is not about individuals. It's not about me. It's not about him. This is about issues. This is about our country. This is about making sure that our democracy is protected. This is about making sure that this is not the end of our first 250 years. It's the beginning of our next 250 years, that we're going to have a system that still works over the next couple of centuries.
Absolutely.
Because when I hear him go all in on being on the Trump team and on the ICE team, after seeing what is going on, after seeing a city like Minneapolis, nobody was saying before all this happened that Minneapolis needed a massive military presence to basically take over that city. This was all self-inflicted by Donald Trump and his minions at the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller, and everybody else. And for the radio station down the road to put on their pom-poms and cheerlead at this is, I think, something that is worthy of discussion. That is something that we need to have a battle of ideas about. And that's, again, what I'm trying to do here. And basically, as well, as I said, I get a number of newsletters to try to keep on top of things in terms of what is happening in the world.
Right.
And one of them it's from Status. It's a political and media and newsletter, and they often track what's being said in the mega media. They call it the mega media. I mean, the people that are always very much on board with the mega agenda. And traditional, I think, media outlets are actually starting to distance themselves a bit from what has been going on in Minneapolis and urging Donald Trump to back off, that this is not working. And then they've called what's called the new media. A lot of podcasters and the like, the people that use the internet, are the ones that are very much saying, no, we have to keep going, keep pushing. Traditionally, you would think radio as being more the traditional media, but
I agree with that.
But based on the messaging, Conley and WSAU are very much in the camp of the new media, the mega right media. But just basically here, from Status in their newsletter from last night, they talk about Rupert Murdoch's media empire. He is the person that owns Fox News. He owns the New York Post, the Wall Street Journal, other far-right media outlets. And it says here in the Status newsletter that Rupert Murdoch's media empire continued to urge Donald Trump to de-escalate in Minnesota. Britt Hume, longtime analyst, news person on Fox News, said the immigration crackdown has, quote, been too aggressive, end quote, and that it has, quote, hit its political limits, end quote. So basically saying...
That's an understatement.
Yeah. The Wall Street Journal editorial board, very conservative, reiterated it believes the, quote, best result, end quote, would be for, quote, the feds to reduce their footprint, end quote, in the state.
Reduce their footprint.
Basically, back off. Back off. That's what it means.
Okay.
The Wall Street Journal also notably published an opinion piece by Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, titled "The Un-American Assault on Minnesota." It's very unusual for the conservative Wall Street Journal to put out an editorial like that. While Murdoch media conveyed one message to Donald Trump, new media voices on the right went in another direction. And this is where I would put Conley and WSAU at this point.
Dare I ask?
Steve Bannon urged Donald Trump to raise the temperature with ICE action in Minneapolis. Bannon said we have to hold the line. That is very similar to what we said the other day, talking about Conley's commentary saying that no retreat. The mob cannot be allowed to win. That's pretty much what Steve Bannon is saying as well. Also, Far-right MAGA podcaster Matt Walsh pushed the bogus claims that Alex Preddy was threatening Border Patrol agents, calling him a domestic terrorist and arguing that he quite literally had it coming, which is disgusting.
They love to use that a word, don't they? A domestic terrorist. It's not the first time that
No,
word's been used.
You're exactly right. They used it against Sarah Good as well.
Renee Good.
Excuse me. Sarah Good. I chuckle because Sarah Good was a character in The Crucible.
Basically, they coined the term domestic terrorist and basically change it to anyone who stands against what the Trump organization believes in and what we stand for is basically an enemy and should be treated as such. That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah,
and the fact of saying that he deserved it is just
it's wrong. It's bottom line. It's just wrong.
It's heartless.
And also, but what we're seeing is the ground is starting to shift a little bit. One thing though, just because you're seeing a little bit of shifting of the ground, it does not mean folks have to take their eye off the ball when it comes to what is happening with Trump, ICE, Homeland Security. Sometimes you see, they're backing off a little bit so we can take a deep breath. No, you cannot take a deep breath right now. Nobody can take a deep breath right now because it is just amazing how the Trump administration flaunts the courts. They flaunt anybody that tries to limit what they're trying to accomplish.
We have to hold our ground here.
Exactly. And we're starting to see pushback again in terms of the courts as well, because a judge has really come after ICE for violating scores of court orders. Scores. I mean, not just one or
that's
two.
A big number.
A judge in Minnesota issued an order yesterday that reminded us that the rule of law still means something. Again, this is from Craig Calcaterra's newsletter that I get every day. He reported on this order, the final result of a habeas corpus petition that was filed 3 weeks ago by a person that was unjustifiably imprisoned by ICE. And frankly, the amount of people that have been unjustifiably imprisoned by ICE is insane. And I hope that all of these people sue the pants off the federal government for this. If it's good enough for Donald Trump to sue everybody, it's good enough for the people that are unjustifiably being put into prison by his thugs from ICE.
Seconded.
But government attorneys were supposed to answer this petition by January 12th, but refused to do so. So again, they just ignored it. Said, we don't have to listen to the courts. So in light of the government's failure to respond, the judge then ordered the government to either give the prisoner a bond petition or release him. What do you think the government did there? Nothing. Again, they ignored it. They refused to do that. So at that point, the judge issued a show cause order and scheduled a hearing at which it ordered ICE Director Todd Lyons to appear personally and show cause why he and his agency should not be held in contempt of court. That finally got ICE's attention, and they released the prisoner. Then yesterday's order went beyond merely noting ICE's belated compliance and disposing of the matter. And the judge, Patrick J. Schlitz of the U.S. District Court for the District of Minnesota, excoriated the government in terms that were very, very nice to see.
So pushback is happening.
What he said is that does not end the court's concerns, however, the release of this unjustifiably imprisoned person.
Mm-hmm.
Attached to this order is an appendix that identifies 96 court orders that ICE has violated in 74 cases.
Jiminy crickets.
The extent of ICE's noncompliance, he wrote, is almost certainly substantially understated. There's probably more.
Yeah.
This list is confined to orders issued since January the 1st of 2026, and the list was hurriedly compiled by extraordinarily busy judges. Undoubtedly, mistakes were made, and orders that should have appeared on this list were omitted. This list should give pause to anyone, no matter his or her political beliefs, who cares about the rule of law. ICE has likely violated more court orders in January of 2026 than some federal agencies have violated in their entire existence. The court warns ICE that future noncompliance with court orders may result in future show cause orders requiring the personal appearances of lions or other government officials. And then he really tees it up the finish.
Okay.
He says, ICE is not a law unto itself. ICE has every right to challenge the orders of this court, but like any litigant, ICE must follow those orders unless and until they are overturned or vacated. Finally, again, and that's one
Somebody
of the
has the courage to speak up against
well,
this.
and also it kind of expands what we've been seeing over the past year, and I think the lack of spine from Democratic politicians, because we have seen over and over and over again actions taken by the Trump administration that would be considered, I think, impeachable offenses.
Yeah.
And yet, because people like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, the leaders of the Senate and the House Democratic caucuses, respectively, are playing the political game, they don't want to do anything like really push back harder and perhaps start to push for impeachment procedures, because they're so scared that they think that something like that would cause political backlash in some way, that they feel like Trump is doing so many things that make himself unpopular that the Democrats don't need to do anything. That is completely the wrong way to look at things as we go into 2026. So
you shouldn't be scared of doing the right thing. It's not the easy thing, but it's better than just sitting around and waiting for something to happen. If you want to make the Democrats look competent, then you need to take a stand. Because right now the Democrats are looking like fools. Not all of them, but some of them.
I think there is a big portion of the Democratic Party and people that lean Democratic that just want to see them stand up and show a little bit of backbone, and to have not
like
just
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yes, and
she should be the one in charge of the Democratic Party.
I think that she is.
I've said that multiple times, and I'm going to keep saying it because I watch her videos on Facebook. She has the courage to stand up for what's right and fight for the truth.
And that would be interesting. Let's, for argument's sake, say that the Democratic Party wins control of both the House of Representatives and the United States Senate. I am very curious to see if there's any changes. There have been rumbles that perhaps Chuck Schumer will not be standing up for leadership in the next Congress when it begins in January of next year. But I would be curious to see if Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez would perhaps be interested in trying for a leadership position in the next Congress. There have also been discussions that perhaps she would run either against Chuck Schumer, or if Schumer retires from the Senate in the next cycle when his term comes up for an end as well. So again, I think that the next moves for Representative AOC will be watched very closely by political observers, both on the left and on the right, to see what direction she wants to go in the near future. And and just listening to the way that you talk about her shows that she has that ability to get folks excited, to get people willing to march in sub-zero temperatures to vote in those kind of ideas, and to show that, hey, that we have a positive vision for the future, not just saying, hey, the guy that is currently in charge is unpopular, so vote for us. That doesn't lead to true permanent alliances, because then in a couple of years after that, those same folks, well, why am I voting for this group of people if they don't give us reasons to do so?
Exactly.
The Democratic Party needs to give the voters reasons to support them, not just that they're not Donald Trump. And again, that's something that I think Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez does exceptionally well for the Democratic Party, and something that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries have to do better. And I'm not saying that Hakeem Jeffries is totally incompetent in his role, but I just think that sometimes
he just needs to step up.
They seem to play it a little too safe for my taste from time to time.
They're basically playing the waiting game. It's like if we wait long enough and just let him dig his own, tunnels, he's basically going to get stuck.
And by the way, and if folks out there, if you have an opinion on this, again, we'd love to hear it at 715-814-9330. Do you agree with Mr. Conley and his ideas that showing any kind of softness here or retreating in any way in Minneapolis would be the wrong thing to do? Again, as he said, no retreat. The mob cannot be allowed to win. Do you think that Conley's way of keeping the pressure on with ICE in Minneapolis is the way to go? Or do you agree with myself and even some on the right that Donald Trump and ICE have gone as far as they can in this situation and that it's hurting them in addition to hurting the city of Minneapolis and the country as well? So again, what do you think the next move should be? We would love to hear your thoughts at 715-814-9330. That's 715-814-9330. And also, not only do I think that the ICE troops need to be withdrawn, but the idea that some on the right are making, well, let's take them somewhere else, basically start over. That is not the answer either.
No.
Going to some other city. And actually, real fast, I saw a picture from somebody last night that had a vehicle in our area that was ICE. So be aware, they can be anywhere. Anywhere looking and causing trouble. But again, one of the things that I think is incredibly moving is the way that so many people, and I get really frustrated again over the weekend. There was actually we're going to take a quick time out. I want to talk about this because I forgot. I was going to talk about this yesterday. A sports announcer in Minneapolis, the voice of the Vikings, the radio voice of the Vikings, got himself into trouble because he went on the air and basically implied or said that these protesters were paid. They're paid agitators. I want to talk about this coming up, and then we'll finish up with our number for the day quiz as well. He's Ian Welsh. I'm Chad Holmes. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
For WXCO News, I'm Isabella Nieto. Former Wausau Mayor Katie Rosenberg is once again seeking elected office, and this time she's running for the Marathon County Board in District 1. Rosenberg left Wausau's mayorship in 2024.
There are moments where you are offered an opportunity to reflect, and I was offered that opportunity, so I did.
Since leaving office, Rosenberg has taken on an appointment as the inaugural director of the Office of Environmental Justice, which she says has allowed her to focus on issues that matter most to her. But she says public service continued to pull her back in. Earlier this year, she secured a seat on the Wausau Police and Fire Commission.
I thought, why not? I'm not somebody who's afraid of putting myself out there.
That pull towards service, Rosenberg says, is lifelong.
I unfortunately grew up in a very engaged family, from my grandparents to my dad to everyone. So it's one of those things that kind of comes naturally.
Prior to being elected mayor, Rosenberg served on the county board from 2016 to 2020. Her decision to run for county board again stems from the recent budget process, after hearing discussions about selling the county nursing home and scaling back health services. She wanted to make her voice heard to her representative on the board.
That was the moment where I was like, we can't do this. Like, I need to make sure my person knows that I don't stand for this, and I don't think our whole district does.
Rosenberg says county government is often overlooked, even though it affects daily life. As she works to return to the county board, Rosenberg says her focus is on results.
I think it has to be about, what are you doing for this community? How can you help solve these critical issues that are facing us? And that's not really the sexy part, but that's the part that matters the most.
I'm Isabella Nieto for WXCO News.
So, how are the kids?
Well, Emily made the honor roll.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, we're really proud of her. Tyler, on the other hand, though.
What's going on?
He's been moody lately, just feeling down and not like himself.
Oh, We've been there. Nick was struggling last spring. He was so anxious and stressed.
Really? What helped?
Well, he joined the soccer team, and ever since, he's been a lot happier. He has more energy, he's less stressed, and he's definitely in a better mood at home. It's made a huge difference.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad he's getting out of the house, he's getting some exercise, and he's off his phone for once. It's been good for his mental health.
Sounds like it's been good for your mental health, too.
Participating in Wisconsin high school sports improves students' physical and mental health. Encourage your son or daughter to get involved. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
You can't always get it at all. Just because there's space in your life, it's a waste to spend your time. Why don't you wait for the call? Just gotta get used to it. We all get it in the end. Just gotta get used to it. We go down and we come up again. Just gotta get used to it. You irritate me, my friend. This is no social crisis. This is you having fun.
Chad Holmes Show, live on YouTube, youtube.com, 98.9 WXCO channel. Also on WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app and the Sports 2 stream. Of course, in the first hour between 8 and 9, we're always on 98.9 WXCO on the radio and online and on YouTube as well. But exclusive to the second hour, we are online. And of course, again, you can get the entire 2 hours as a very nice podcast.
Yeah.
You can get the podcast with all the commercials taken out. So it's straight information and talk and interviews and all that. So again, after 10 o'clock, the podcast will be put up, available on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts. Search out WXCO News or the Chad Holmes Show. And then on WXCO.FM and civicmedia.us, you can go to the show's page, and it's under the WXCO News category as well. A few folks are celebrating their birthdays today. Paul Ryan, the former Speaker of the House, Wisconsin Congressman, former vice presidential candidate. He was born on this date in 1970. Oprah Winfrey was born on this date in 1954. Anton Chekhov, Russian author, 1860 he was born. And William McKinley, former president of the United States, was born on this date in 1843. We will have more in terms of history in a few minutes in our number for the day quiz as well. But I wanted to talk about something. It is something that you have to always remember as well, Ian, that I have to remember as well, is that when we talk into this microphone, it's out there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you say something really, really stupid, it gets out there.
Come out to bite you. Absolutely.
So you have to be always aware of what you're talking about. And in Minneapolis on Friday, on a sports radio station, show in the morning is hosted by Minnesota Vikings radio play-by-play announcer Paul Allen. He's been the voice of Vikings football for many years. And Friday morning, he got into a little trouble. Well, and the thing about it is, it's well-deserved, because you don't say this kind of stuff unless you, I think, believe it. And this is one of the things that really annoys me, because you see a lot of folks on the right who see the folks that go into the streets protesting, whether it was the No Kings rallies during the last year, other rallies, all the protesters in Minneapolis. They all say, oh, they're all being paid. They're paid agitators. It's their job to go out there. You see people talk about, oh, those signs, they look like they were made by professionals. They're not really being made by the protesters. I mean, it's just a lot of garbage being thrown out there.
The goal people have to say that is just unbelievable.
Well, the thing about it is, if these folks were being paid, wouldn't it be pretty easy for them to get the proof? Because if they're looking for folks to go out and protest and you're being paid, you just, hey, you send out some folks. When you get the evidence that you're being paid to protest, bring it back. We'll put it on the air, and then all of a sudden we'll say, gotcha. But all they do is say, oh, these people must be being paid. They're paid agitators without any proof.
It's not evidence. It's just an assumption.
It is.
See, when you say the word must, it doesn't mean you have evidence. It means you're making an assumption that they are probably getting paid for this without actually proving it. Power of words, people.
No, they're not probably being paid. They're not being paid. It's all lies. That's all it is. I mean, that's the bottom line. But Paul Allen on his radio program in Minneapolis on Friday, he was chatting with one of his co-hosts, the former Minnesota Vikings linebacker Chad Greenway, and they were talking about the frigid winter temperatures that we've actually talked about. And Allen asked during this conversation, in conditions like this, do paid protesters get hazard pay? Really stupid thing to say. All right, so he said it once. Okay, well, maybe there's all right, fine.
Maybe it was a slip of the tongue.
Well, Greenway then responded, I'm not going to go there. He was smart enough not to say something really stupid in that moment. He said, and then when the conversation later shifted to NFL coaching changes, and Allen repeated a similar joke. He goes, everybody's catching strays this week. Flores, Kevin Stefanski from Baker, Charlie caught one out of nowhere. They're just all over. Paid protesters caught one this morning. So again, he's bringing up paid protesters in just completely out of left field. So Allen's remarks appeared to question the motives of demonstrators protesting ICE's immigration crackdown in Minneapolis. And then, of course, this happened Friday morning. Then Saturday, of course, came.
Oh, no.
And then, of course, Alex Preddy was killed by ICE agents. And so, again, it was a case where the timing was not good for Paul Allen. So Monday morning, when the show started at 9 o'clock, instead of Paul Allen coming on the air to be the host of the show, it started with a recorded message from Paul Allen where he apologized for questioning the motives of protesters opposed to U.S. immigration and customs enforcement activity in the Twin Cities. He also said he would be taking a leave of absence from the program. And the thing about it is, he calls it an attempt at humor, and that was not an attempt at humor. That was, I mean, and the thing is, and I was talking about this issue with a friend of mine, and he said, so often there's massive amounts of truth in the humor that you use, if you think it's humor, but you usually don't use humor in a way that contradicts how you truly believe. You use the truth in humor aspect is very, very true. But Allen said, and this is what he said, and I think it's sort of a half-hearted attempt to try to save his job. He says, good morning. I made a comment on air Friday about protesters and the weather that was insensitive and poorly timed, and I'm sorry. He added, it was a misguided attempt at humor, and while it never was made with any political intent or political affront, which I don't think is true, I absolutely and wholeheartedly want to apologize to those who were generally hurt or offended by it. He says, 9 to noon doesn't formulate political opinions. We don't bash or praise political discussions or even focus on political issues. My best was lacking Friday, and for that, I'm sorry. I'm taking a few days off and wanted to express these thoughts and my sincere apology with you before I do. Again, that is something that is often said. We hear the spokesperson for the president of the United States often say when somebody questions, because there was a question last week at one of the press conferences who asked the press secretary about comments that Trump had made about canceling the elections in 2026, that we don't need elections in 2026. And she said, oh, he was just joking. He wasn't joking. That's the old standby for these folks, that
Donald just being Donald.
You say these things that are completely, I think, inappropriate, and then people say, oh, Can't you take a joke? Just joking. No, that's not a joke. I have no doubt that's what Paul Allen really believed, that he was slamming people, that he was slamming the protesters and trying to cut them down by saying they really weren't out there to protest ICE. They were out there being paid to do it. That was not a joke. That was the actual truth. So,
Yeah.
so we'll see whether or not Paul Allen has any further consequences to this. I doubt it. I bet you he'll be back on the air soon enough. He'll be back doing Vikings games soon
Just like
enough.
someone else we know who got punished for something, and now he's back on the air.
I could not agree more that certain folks, if you are
Multiple times, as you mentioned before.
if you're popular enough, they will overlook it. And that seems to be a case not just in Minneapolis, but perhaps here locally as well. All right. Well, let's finish things off. Let's have a look at some famous events that have occurred on this date in history, the 29th day of January. On this date in 1880, W.C. Fields, actor and comedian, known for his distinctly cantankerous comedy persona and juggling skills, was born in Philadelphia. Carl Benz patented the first practical automobile powered by an internal combustion engine on this date in 1886. And Benz, of course, is the Benz in Mercedes-Benz. On this date in 1900, the American League, the baseball league, the American League, was organized in Philadelphia. On this date in 1919, the 18th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was ratified. When it went into effect in 1920, do you know what it did? Do you know what the 18th Amendment did? I'm going to quiz you here.
Is that the one that gave women the right to vote?
No, that's a good guess. That really is a good guess, because that was in that general time frame. This was prohibition.
Oh.
Prohibition. So that was the 18th Amendment ratified on this date in 1919, and it went into effect in 1920. On this date in 1936, Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb are among the first players to be elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. On this date in 2002, President George W. Bush, delivering a State of the Union address, described Iraq, Iran, and North Korea as an axis of evil for their attempts to develop nuclear, chemical, or biological weaponry. And on this date in 2015, Colleen McCullough, best known for her sweeping romance The Thornbirds, died at the age of 77. All right. And by the way, we went through the birthdays earlier.
Yeah.
Anybody out there who's celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
From all of us here at 98.9 WXCO.
Well, we haven't done that since we got transferred all the power to Pat Cradlow. Oh, he's the one that did the birthday messages then.
Yep, there you go. All right. Well, it's time for our number for the day quiz.
Yes.
Ian is 2 for 3 so far this week. Let's try to make it 3 out of 4.
Okay.
I mentioned that Oprah Winfrey is celebrating a birthday today.
Mm-hmm.
Oprah Winfrey is very wealthy.
Oh, yes.
She's very wealthy. The number for the day is, what is the estimated net worth of Oprah Winfrey?
Estimated net worth. Okay.
Yep. So how much is Oprah worth? Your choices are
okay.
$1.2 billion, $2.2 billion,
wow,
$3.2 billion.
What is the net worth of Oprah Winfrey? 1.2, 2.2, or 3.2 billion?
Yep.
Wow, that's a lot of money either way, but Oprah Winfrey is very popular. I mean, I remember watching the Oprah Winfrey show back in the day. Hey, man, feels like that was only a short time ago, but
it's been a while actually now.
Okay, so I'm gonna say final guess
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with $3.2 billion. Final answer, I'm gonna say 3.2 billion.
So you're going with the big number.
Going with the big number
And you're-
today.
You're saying Oprah is worth $3.2 billion.
Yes. Final
All
answer.
right. All right. So Oprah Winfrey, prominent media mogul, the first black female billionaire, has a production company, television network, extensive investments. Her wealth is driven by her media ventures and real estate holdings, is worth $3.2 billion.
Oh, I got it right.
3 out of 4 this week.
Successful week.
So you got a winning week, and now you go for an A grade tomorrow.
See if I can get a 4 out of 5. That's
Yeah, so
man.
So we'll wrap things up tomorrow. We'll be joined by Paul Mickling to talk about Wisconsin sports as we head into the weekend and a whole bunch more. Have a good Thursday.
You too, Chad. Happy Thursday, everybody.
And make sure you join us tomorrow morning starting at 8:06 a.m. for the Chad Holmes Show on 98.9 WXCO.